May I have your attention, please? We will now begin the Tokyo Forum of Young Minds. I'm Karen from Tokyo.
And I'm Moyu.
We will be moderating this forum. We are pleased to have around 40 teens from Brussels, Dublin, Surabaya, Taipei, and Tokyo here for the forum. Presentations will be given on the theme, Our Vision for a Child-Friendly City. These will be followed by question and answer sessions.
First, Ms. Tanaka, Director General of the Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies, the office that organizes this project, will have remarks.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Tanaka Aiko, Director General of the Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies at the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. To everyone who has traveled from overseas, is this your first time in Tokyo? First time? First time? Welcome to Tokyo. I hope that all of you are doing well and have recovered your jet lag. The summer here in Tokyo is very hot, isn't it? Yesterday, I understand that your group gathered for the first time to discuss topics such as school life in each of the 5 cities. And this morning, you paid a courtesy call on Governor Koike. How was it? It is now time to start the forum, which you have all been looking forward to. Although you live in Asia and in Europe, areas with many differences, I believe that you share the same hope to make your cities child-friendly cities. What is needed to make a city child-friendly city? What can we do to make our cities more child-friendly? How are you making your voices heard? Today, let's share what we have achieved through our efforts with the cities gathered here and with the world. I would also like to thank Ms. Otani Mikiko, former chair of the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child. Thank you very much. And the chaperones leading each of the delegation for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I hope that you will listen carefully to the children here and provide them with plenty of encouragement today. You, the children, are the stars of this forum. There are no right or wrong answers, so please relax and feel free to share your frank opinion. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Danke. Thank you. Terimakashi. Shei, arigatou.
Thank you, Director General Tanaka. Next, I would like to introduce you to a special guest who is joining us today. Ms. Otani Mikiko, former chair of the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child. Thank you very much for your assistance.
Now, we would like to start the presentations by the series. Brussels will be the first to present.
Hello, everyone. Let's kick off with a quick introduction. We are the Vlaamse Scholieren Koepel, an organization by, for, and of students in Belgium. I am Ibtisam, part of the board, and together with Gabriel, our president, we are the bosses of our organization. We decide big decisions such as where our money goes to or which priorities we give our organization. Alicia and Victor are both students representatives. They're the ones bringing the voices from students straight into policy discussions and meetings with education networks. And then we have Lieselore. Lieselore is part of our general council. That is the highest decision-making body in our organization.
So today we are going to present to you how we think about a child-friendly city, and we wrote down some points that we would like to discuss today. So first of all, we would like to present to you that participation is key, that it's very important to involve youth at policy making. Next one is about the Youth Council and the role it has in youth participation. Also, the education at urban level can be very important, and to end also education tailored to the needs of pupils.
So, first of all, participation is key. A city built with children in mind is a city that works for everyone. A child-friendly city puts children and young people at the heart of its vision. How? Well, by listening to their voices, inviting them to participate actively, and ensuring they are informed, involved, and empowered. A truly child-friendly city doesn't just make decisions with them, about them, but together with them, allowing them to think along, help decide, and take part in shaping their environment. And why is this so important? Well, first of all, it uncovers overlooked needs and sparks creative, fresh, and new solutions. Secondly, it empowers children and young people, strengthening democracy from the ground up. Third of all, it fosters stronger, more connected communities. Fourth, it supports development, well-being, and confidence. And last but not least, it ensures equality and inclusion, giving every child a fair chance to be heard. Young people are not just the future. They are an important part of society today. They experience the city in unique ways, and their perspective can highlight challenges adults might miss. By creating space for their voices, cities can design safer, healthier, and more inspiring places to live for everyone. A child-friendly city is therefore just better for children, but for the whole community.
But how can we do student participation? Everything starts from our participation model. The first step is knowing along. You can't start participation without knowing what is going to happen. For example, there will become a new playground on the school, so you inform the students that it will be built. Secondly, you can have students that think along. So they can think what needs to be on the playing ground. Also, some people can decide along, like on a school council, they can decide what will be on the playground. And finally, do along. We are very useful as children, so we can help, for example, a school, but also a city, to do things to make everything better, like making some stuff on a playground. But not everybody has to do these three things. You can do one or two or three things to do participation. And it could be small, it could be big, but if you can follow these steps, you can do participation.
So now we are going to talk about the importance of a youth council. So we believe that the youth council can be very important and also interesting to create policy made and tailored to the needs of children or the youth in general. A youth council can help, first of all, to target the audience. So youth council is really made to speak and to stay in contact with the youth itself. And by talking with them, by having a specific connection with them, it can help to hear different experiences they have, and also to implement those in a policy, for example. And you can have a youth council on different levels. For example, on a local level, But in Belgium, Lieselore is going to talk about it afterwards, we have also a bigger youth council, and it can really help to make the voice of youth much bigger and to really have a big impact on policy making.
So in Belgium, we have the Flemish Youth Council. It's a place where high school students, university students, and young adults come together to talk about important topics in our society. Think about climate or equality for all. We, as Scholierenkoepel, we only talk about education, which we totally love, but it's also important to talk about other subjects, and that's what they do. But sometimes we work together to make an advice much stronger. They have youth representatives. They go, for example, to important meetings at the European Union, and they go talk there with important people. We at the Scholierenkoepel, we also have something like that. We call that student representatives. They go a year long and they learn a lot about one topic, and then they go talk with politicians or other important people, and they try to make changes in those fields, and they let the voices of students in those fields be heard at those places.
Exactly, and we want them always to be really involved. We go to a lot of meetings, like Lieselore said. It can be about artificial intelligence, about really the education with the Ministry of Education. And when we go to a meeting, always someone of our representative team is present with a staff member who helps us, but really the students all talking with them. For example, this is the group of representatives, and I'm as a president, I also talk with the high-level policy makers. On this image, you can see me with the new Minister of Education. And so we really aim at different policy-making levels, for example, at school level, more regional level, but also on a very high level with the most important people, so that we can have really an impact on different levels.
So how can we incorporate education at the urban level? First of all, you should leave room for education-related topics. Our organization is very good in it. We have a general council who decides what we're going to publish for advices towards the government, but also we do activities like our peer support system, the Conflicters, where we help students feel better at school. We also organize other things like days where we exchange knowledge with a lot of students from all of Belgium to share knowledge because it could be very useful. Secondly, in Belgium, there are a lot of cities, and things will happen that are important for students, but not as important for the government to fix. So we have local consultation platforms where locally for a city or two cities, people are thinking how to make things better for school, like the inscription to a school or equality in schools. So there are things that have a huge impact on students that can be done on a local level because it's tailored to the needs of that specific city.
Now, it's also important that education is tailored to our needs, the students. It's important that we are heard because our opinion matters. It's also important that school buildings are tailored to us and our needs. It's also important that we learn lessons that we can use in real adult life and in our higher education. It's also important that schools are affordable for everyone because not everyone is born with the same luxuries. And lastly, it's also important that teachers teach with passion and love for the subjects and respect for the students. Now, I invite you all to play a little game with me. I'll tell you some things that we asked our Flemish students, and together we'll explore our 5 priorities for this year. The first one was bullying. So I want you all to think for yourselves what's important to you. Now, bullying was not a priority for us this year, but it was very, very talked about. We also had teaching methods, which we will cover. Student participation, what we learn at school, the ideal school, the mental well-being of students, the teacher and how they teach us and what they teach us about, racism in our education system, and students from disadvantaged backgrounds, together with diversity at school. Now, our top priorities, as you see here, were mental well-being of students, were teaching methods, and how teachers at school so that it's interactive and fun for us. It's also students from disadvantaged backgrounds and racism in the education, because not everyone has the same luxuries in life. And it's also what we learn at school, because that's really important and that prepares us for future life outside of school, in higher education, and in our jobs. Well, how did we establish these priorities? We had a survey in which we got more than 20,000 responses. And that may seem small for a big city like Tokyo, but for a small country like Belgium, it's a really big number. Well, we also established them by focus group discussions. We went to schools, to classrooms, and asked the students what they find important and what they want to change in their school. And we also developed that to student participation. We organize activities in whole Flanders and talk with students about what they find important. We want them to know that our organization is a place that can change their schools for the better.
So, imagine, summer break is over, almost, and you come back to school and you see that your playground isn't boring and grey anymore, but it's colorful and adjusted to every season of the year. Sounds nice, isn't it? Well, yeah, we think that too. Playgrounds are very important for students. It's a place where they can relax in between classes and meet up with their friends. But most of the time, they are not colorful and green, and I hear you think, it costs a lot of money to change playgrounds. And in some cases, that's true. But there are also minor things that you can do to make your playground better. For example, paint a wall, put a flower box. If you have time and money, you can always replace concrete with grass. It's good for the environment and it's good for the mental health of students. But how can the city and the school work together to achieve this? Well, that is a broad school. A broad school, there, cities and schools work together. For example, during school hours, the playground is just for the students of the school. But after school hours, it's for the neighbors who live there, and they can go play there with their children, and the teens can go and hang there. Another example are art rooms. Art rooms during the day, of course, for art classes, after school, for workshops for the local community. Sport halls can be rented for events or sport games. Yeah, that's how I see it. So these are all ways how the city can connect with the school and they can lift each other up to be better and do better for all, for students and for neighbors. Now we're going to play a video about one of our places where students can come and have a good time, and I'll give a little more explanation after that. So what we think is important is that there is a place where students and children can come, can interact with each other, and can create changes. That makes a city a good city. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Brussels. We will now start the question and answer sessions. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
Thank you for the very interesting presentation. I'd like to ask a quick question. As your organization that represents, I would say, youth voices, I'd like to ask, how do you resolve conflicts or, let's say, form consensus inside your organization when you're representing the... Because we know that representing a group of people, youth, is not really an easy thing, and it's somehow complex, and it's going to take a long time to form the consensus. And I was to ask, how do you make that happen, and how do you ensure that yourself has the same consensus of the whole organization? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. It's a very important question, I think, also for a broad consensus and policy making. Within our organization, we have different levels. So first of all, now in August, our General Assembly and General Council comes together, and it's in the council are, I think, 30 members, around 30 members. And so we present some possible priorities, and they vote on it. For example, we take 2 or 3 priorities, and during the school year, we are going to work on them. So we can do a big survey, or we can go talk with them. And when we make one priority, there is a group of students that is actively working on it with a member of our staff team, and they do it together. And the most important people in that group are the students themselves. Afterwards, it goes to the board, where Ipti and I are in, and so we are going to take a look about, for example, how can we bring it? Are there things that we might need to change? Afterwards, it goes to the General Assembly again, and there is some debate, some room for questions. And in every stage, there's the possibility to change things or to add some things. And for example, the General Assembly has the option to deny an advice, for example, but most of the times it gets accepted, and afterwards we are going to publicate it. But it takes quite a long time, but we think that consensus and involving as much as possible students is very important during this process.
So hi, I'm just like really impressed with how much like data sampling and all the survey responses you actually get. It's like a huge feat, like 20,000. So you guys should be really proud of that. I was just wondering, just like, how did you manage to get so much data sampling, especially like with like limited resources? Did you work with schools? Did you work with the government? Or how did you like incentivize the students to actually fill in these responses? Thank you.
Thank you for your question again. That's a very big question, but I like it. The year before the elections, we thought it would be very interesting to gather information and to actively talk with the political parties to, for example, to have some impact also the year afterwards when the government is built. And we organized a survey, so a group of students, again, as I said, comes together. And it was a special group because it was bigger, with a lot of meetings. And so it's a very difficult process to do it. And there were, I think, 3 staff members. It was bigger than normal. And so they made a big survey. And so afterwards, we started on social media, on a student platform that I think 90% of all students use in Belgium. So it was on the big screen so everyone could see it. And we aimed at, I think, 10,000 students, but I think we did double of it, so we are very proud about it. But yeah, we needed extra time because we had a lot of data, and so we selected important things. We made a difference between really the things that we ask the government, for example, and the pure data that we have. So we made a difference between those two. And I think next year we are going to do it again because we find it very interesting to have a broad view at the priorities at students. Are there other questions?
Now, I'd like to ask the chaperone from the delegation from Surabaya, do you have any thoughts on the presentation?
Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to invite a round of applause for our friends from Brussels. Very good presentation. Is it Lise, Victor, Gabrielle, Ibtisam, and Alicia? Very good presentation. I find similarities of what I call 3 Ps, right? 3 Ps. First is participation. I think between Areli, Elang, Agnes, and Safika, they love to share your spirit of participation is the key. That's what Surabaya and Brussels would, I think, promote to all over the world, that participation of children is the key. And second is policy, including the polls. Thank you for questions from Taipei. That's very good. Children, you inspire us to actually argue with data, with facts and findings. And the third, this is what I love the most. Don't forget, we should still play. Because children, I think the childhood is not repeatable. And what we share with you, Surabaya and Brussels, is we will continue to play together. And we'll make sure that children are happy everywhere in the world. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Next, the group from Dublin will give their presentation.
We are calling it now. Our vision of a child-friendly city we're presenting now. Calling it now are child and youth councils that give young people all over Ireland the chance to have their voice heard on the issues affecting their lives both today and in the future. Calling and Og child and youth councils operate in each of the 31 local authority areas across Ireland, funded and managed by DCDE, for short, Department of Children, Disability and Equality. The council enable young people aged 12 to 17 years to excuse their rights or exercise their rights, influencing decision making on the topics most important to them. We've identified 6 key points, and I'm going to pass you on to Calvin to explain further.
Has anyone got the clicker? Thank you. So the 6 key areas that we explored was the child rights-based approach under the UN Charter on the Rights of the Child and meaningful child participation. The next 2 are basic services, safety and protection. And the next 2, inclusive and unpolluted environment. And I'm going to explain the first 2. Child rights-based approach and meaningful participation. A child rights-based approach is entailed in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. This recognises a child as a right holder and a duty bearer, meaning young people must be catered to when policies involving children or having an impact on them is being implemented. Around the world, this gives a child a right to express their opinion, a right for their interests to be prioritised, and for their rights to be respected. In Ireland, these rights are used in effect through our organisation, Corlin and Og. Through Corlin and Og is used as a vehicle to get in touch with policymakers directly through Dublin City Council and through all the other local authorities around Ireland. This is how we use it to include and protect our children's rights and to protect everyone else who is involved. After which, we go on to meaningful child participation. We want to go on and go beyond token participation. This means more than just involvement. It means actually having an impact. when a child raises their voice and wants to be heard and wants to express their opinion freely. I'll give you an example of this. In 2024, us at Dublin City Corlin and Og were consulted by a member of the Irish Parliament, and it was on the use of the substance nitrous oxide. When legislation was being drafted on the substance, this is when our voices were heard and our opinions were heard on the topic, which proves that there is actual meaningful participation and that we need to push policymakers more and make sure that our voices are heard when it comes to policies being introduced on children. I'll pass you on now to old Daniela.
Hello, my name is Lauren, and I'm going to be talking about basic services and protection and safety. First, I'm going to tell you what basic services mean. Basic services are fundamental utensils and services that are essential for daily life and to improve well-being. First, I'm going to be talking about education. Education gives them the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in life, and gives them the opportunities and opens doors for them as they learn and grow. I believe that the curriculum shouldn't stay the same. It needs to grow with us how we grow. Everything around us is evolving. Technology is evolving, and I know in the future more jobs are going to have a lot more technology involved with them, and we need to learn as children how to grow with it. I also believe that teachers shouldn't be speaking at us. They should be speaking with us. It should be more interactive, getting up, moving around, more physical, and that way we soak it in more. Kids, they learn around them and they look up to adults around them. So when teachers are moving around, they learn that that is the right thing to do and get more physical. Next, I will be talking about healthcare. Healthcare is divided into 3 essential parts. First, preventive care. This includes checkups, screenings for your eyesight and hearing, and dental care. I know surely every single one of you in the crowd has went to one of these, but there is queues for them, there is lines, and they take long. There shouldn't be any, and you shouldn't have to pay for them. I believe healthcare should be free. And next is curative care. This is medical treatment. The lines for medical treatment can last for years. And for children, that's just not right. They shouldn't be worrying about when they're going to get their surgery. They should be worrying about how they're going to recover from it and look at that path, not just how they're going to get it, because it should be accessible and it should be affordable. We shouldn't have to be paying for little children. Families shouldn't have to be worrying if they can even afford it. Next is mental health support. Mental health support is always overlooked compared to the other 2, but I believe no one is stronger than the other 2, and they're both as important as each other. And I believe in schools there should be counselling for each child available whenever they need it, as I believe the healthcare now is focusing on curing, and I believe it should be focusing on preventing these problems from even happening. Next, I would love to talk about transport. No child should be worried how they're going to get somewhere, if they're going to be late for school because the bus didn't arrive. I know in Dublin the transport is pretty poor. On the weekends you could be waiting up to 40 minutes for one train. And for children it shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't be having to ask their parents for lifts everywhere. And also if this is improved, it will also improve the environment. Now I'm going to look at safety and protection. As individuals, we seek security, stability, protection from harm, including financial security and health, especially for kids. Kids are still learning about the world and don't always know wrong from right, and we can't always expect them to. And it is important that we keep them safe that could hurt. We keep them safe from things that could hurt them, like accidents or people who might try to cause them harm. This all makes sure they grow up happy and healthy. Kids are our future after all, and we need to protect them. Kids should be going out and playing and exploring and looking around at their beautiful city, Tokyo and Dublin. They should be not afraid to go down the wrong alleyway or which place is safer than the other. Everything should be safe for them. My favourite saying is, kids dream. And if kids dream, they can believe. And if they believe, they can achieve. And I believe we really should improvise this and teach them that it's okay to make mistakes, because they should not be afraid and build what they know.
Hi, my name's Daniela, and I'm going to be talking about inclusive and unpolluted environments. An inclusive environment is a space where everyone feels valued, respected, and supported, regardless of their background, identities, ability, or experiences. All children can join in games, school activities, and community projects. Everyone's ideas are listened to, and differences like cultures, languages, or abilities are celebrated so that no one feels left out. To make an environment more inclusive, we can make sure every child has a chance to join in, encourage kindness, and celebrate everyone's differences. Far-right groups in Ireland spread hateful and false messages about people who are different, often on social media like TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Sometimes they even involve children in protests. This links to our topic because an inclusive environment means every child feels welcome, respected, and safe. Far-right ideas go against this by teaching division instead of kindness. To make an environment inclusive, we can challenge lies, celebrate differences, and encourage children to respect and support one another both online and in real life. An unpolluted environment is clean and healthy for everyone. Children can play and explore without being hurt by litter, smoke, or dirty water. To make an environment more unpolluted, we can pick up litter, plant trees, and grow flowers. Use less plastic and take care of nature. A clean environment helps plants, animals, and all people live safely and happily. Children are more likely to stay healthy and active when they grow up in a clean, green space. Pollution is still a problem in Ireland, especially in busy cities like Dublin, where traffic and burning fuels make the air unhealthy. Around 1,300 people die each year from poor air quality. Rivers and lakes are also affected by pollution and litter. Mainly cigarette butts is common in towns. This connects to our topic because an unpolluted environment is of making a safe and healthy space for children. When the air and water are clean, kids can play, learn, and grow without any harm.
Okay, so that was a lot of information. So now I'm going to try and summarize it so that we can all really understand the vision that we have. So, when we think about a child-friendly city, it really means that these 6 priorities don't just stand alone, that when they come together, they form the foundations for a city where young people can feel respected, supported, and safe. Firstly, as Calvin mentioned, a child rights-based approach ensures that every decision within the city includes one very important question: what does this mean for the children? Ireland committed to explicitly recognising children's rights and protecting them by referendum in April 2015, meaning that our rights as children are not treated as optional extras, but as essential standards. When we commit to a child rights approach, we acknowledge that children are not passive citizens of the future, but active citizens of today. Secondly, again as Calvin mentioned, we believe in meaningful participation. This isn't about tokenism or checking a box by asking children for their opinion every once in a while. It's about creating real structures where young people can contribute ideas and challenge decisions. A child-friendly city values our perspectives and recognises that we see and experience things that adults might miss. We can foster this meaningful participation by using the Lundy model: space, voice, audience, and influence. This ideal city is part of an economically sustainable system where resources are reused, waste is minimized, and the circular economy supports long-term well-being for children. This requires government agencies and departments working together with a common purpose: to put child-friendly policies at the very centre of any economical or social policies. Next, a child-friendly city must guarantee basic services, as we heard from Lauren, for all children. Services should be designed to be accessible, affordable, and welcoming, so that every child has the chance to thrive. More than 1 in 5 children in Ireland experience enforced deprivation, meaning that over 256,000 children have no access to basic necessities. A city cannot be considered child-friendly if any child is denied these services. Free public health care and quality education should also be available to all children. Education is more than just lessons. It is the key to empowerment, independence, and opportunity. It prepares students with the tools to understand their rights and participate in society meaningfully. Healthcare should be approached through educating healthy living and promoting the fact that healthcare can be prevented. These pages are very awkward. We cannot forget safety and protection. For us, this means children can move freely through a city without fear. That includes physical safety, protection from harm, and digital safety in the online spaces we inhabit. An alarming 65% of children in Ireland aged 8 to 12 have been approached by a stranger online. Protection should not mean restriction. It should mean empowerment, giving children the confidence to explore without risk. And of course, no city can be child-friendly if children do not feel safe in their own homes and cities. Housing is more than a shelter. It is stability and security. Housing is a real issue in Ireland. Roughly 35% of people homeless in Ireland are children, with thousands living in emergency accommodation. A safe home gives way for play and participation, which leads me on to how important play is, which we mentioned in the last presentation. If I can get the page working. Well, that's awkward. There we go. So, play is not optional. It is a fundamental part of childhood. Through play, children learn and grow. Einstein said that play is the highest form of research, as it improves cognitive, physical, social, and emotional well-being of young people. A child-friendly city must foster inclusive environments. Inclusion meaning that no child is invisible. It means recognizing diversity in all its forms, culturally, linguistically, socioeconomically, or ability-wise. It is a city where difference is not a barrier, but a strength, where every child can be themselves and see themselves reflected in spaces, policies, and decisions that shape your city. We must also think of clean air, safe water, and green spaces, not as luxuries, but as our own rights. A polluted city is not only unsafe today, but it is robbing children of tomorrow. All brought together, we are describing more than just policies and services. We are describing a vision of a city that is built with children, for children, and alongside children. A city that listens, protects, empowers, and includes us. This is what a child-friendly city should look like, and it's not just something that the government can create. It's something that all of us young people are ready to make together. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Dublin. Now we will begin the question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
I'm Tsugumi. Thank you for your great presentation. Please excuse me for speaking Japanese. 子供の
So regarding the participation of child is important, and also it's difficult to take a step forward to start action, but it's still for poverty and the environment. You are working on the ground activities while you're also influencing the government. And what is driving you to do so? What inspired you to achieve such things?
It's really hard to listen to the translation. That's the first time I've ever done that, so that's actually a really interesting experience. I definitely think that something that drives us all to make real change and action is seeing that the actions that we've previously taken and seeing how well that they've done in Dublin. I've been on Corlin and Og, which is our youth group, for like 4 or 5 years. So I've done many topics. I'm too old now for this, but you know, I have done a few different topics. So I think seeing the changes that we've made in the past and seeing the influence that we can make on other young people. So for some of our other events, like our annual youth conference, when we bring people in and we show them what we can do, I think seeing real change can promote so much in ourselves and make us feel okay to move forward. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I think, yeah, seeing action that you do yourself can promote you to do more, I think. Does anyone else want to add anything? Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Your presentation was just awesome. I wish I could kind of do something similar, but I saw that your group has a lot of like priorities that you guys listed towards the end of the slide. There was about 8 or 7, right? Is there like a specific way you guys choose which one to focus on for the year or for like this period, or is it just we're trying to combat them all at once?
Yes, I think when we list our topics, we think of what is most relevant to what's going on in our country and what is most important to young people at the time. Like right now, with Corlin and Og, Dublin City, we're doing inclusivity and diversity, paving the way for kindness. That's the name of our working topic this year. And so far, we've been meeting with different people in high places, different policymakers, and experts who have different views and also have an expert opinion on how the rise of far-right nationalism in Ireland is going on right now. And we want to be able to create a more inclusive and equal city for our people, and we want to help educate young people and educate the people of Dublin on how things really work and how the system actually works, because there is lots of misinformation that goes around, and there is also plenty of other violent attacks that have been going on, and we just want to be able to educate our city and educate our young people so that we can prevent these things from happening further.
And on top of that, we also love to hear from like the actual young people of Dublin. So every year around November, we host AYC, which is just an annual youth conference, which is where our working topic for the year is voted on. So there'll be a list of 3, and actually every child that's in attendance on that day gets to vote towards it. So it's not biased towards our group. It means that a wider amount of the Dublin youth gets to vote on what they think is important. Yeah.
I will not lie, sometimes it can be really hard trying to choose a topic because everyone comes up with such great ideas, and that's a brilliant problem to have because it just shows how everyone's so interactive in our group. But we also listen to experts and they give us their opinions, and that also, and what we can do and try help. So that also helps us decide between which one. Yeah.
I hope that answered it. You've got 3 opinions.
Has a question?
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting to see the 8 priorities. I was just interested in how do you approach policymakers with your priorities, and how do you make, like in general, your voice heard?
Yeah, well, we are really lucky that we have really good access to like government officials or people that would be involved in policy making or decision making. Because we're a youth council of Dublin City Council, we do have we're very, very lucky to have a lot of access to that. We're given so much opportunity in Dublin to have our voices heard. Especially we have a Lord Mayor in Dublin who is more than delighted to be in attendance at our events or speak to us. We do a city hall debate, I think it's every year, where we get to really have our voices heard. So we are just genuinely so grateful and lucky to have that access that I know a lot of other groups might not have, but we are really, really close by to those decision makers. Yeah, okay.
Now I would like to ask the chaperone from the delegation from Taipei, do you have any thoughts on the presentation?
First, thanks for the sharing and the youth voice from Dublin City. And I see many impressive and adorable insights in your presentation. I believe these insights are meaningful for Taipei youth to imagine their better future. At least Taipei youth, okay? It's also helpful for public sector worker like me to realize a good solution about meaningful participation. I highly appreciate your presentation, page 2. You list, you talk about vision keyword crowds. It impressed me. As I see, the keyword crowd is a key method to gather children's voice from individual or small community. Opinion, change it to consensus. Like you say, like you mentioned, finally, fully involved direct policy making. It's a good job. It's a good job. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are going to take a 10 minutes break here. The next presentation will be given by Sabaya at 3:55. 35. Please return to your seats by that time.
Thank you. The forum will resume shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Surabaya will now give their presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow delegates from around the world. We are the delegation from Indonesia representing the sparkling city of Surabaya. My name is Agnes, and with me are
Airlangga.
Aurelie.
And my name is Safika. Today, we are thrilled to share our vision for a child-friendly city and how we are making it reality in Surabaya. And let me throw some little fun fact. The Surabaya's child-friendly city is designed by Arek Surabaya. For us, Indonesia is not only a country of thousands of islands, it's a country of millions of stories of flexibility, of culture, and of young people dreaming big. Among the stories is ours, the story of Surabaya. Surabaya is more than just Indonesia's second largest city. It's our home. It's where we grow up, where we play, and where our dreams first take flight. We want Surabaya to be a place where every child feels like a hero in their own story, where our future shines as like bright as our hopes. Together with our local government, we, the children of Surabaya, continue to work and pray hard to make our city a true child-friendly city, a place shaped with us and for us. Imagine a whole city that acts like a teacher, always showing you how to be kind, how to live peacefully with everyone, and most importantly, how to be respected. Yes, you heard that right, respected. In Surabaya, with diverse ethics, culture, and traditions, our city shows us that when our ideas are not just heard, but actually used to make Surabaya better for kids, that's a real respect. This feeling of respect, of being valued, makes Surabaya a truly evolving, child-friendly city. Imagine your friends and want a new extra activity at our school. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could tell the government and they actually listen? Now imagine if the voice of thousands of children could land directly on your mayor desk. That's exactly what we do here in Surabaya. Once a year, we release a special questionnaire filled out by thousands of children in Surabaya. All those ideas are hoped, then compressed into an official children's voice report. And you can access it too, with just scan the barcode above. This report is then scanned and used to the national, provincial, and city levels by our president, governor, and mayor to make Surabaya and all Indonesia even safer and more fun for kids. As a part of Surabaya, Children Forum has privilege of this children's voice report, cause we know what could be improved. As children in Surabaya, we are not just giving all those problems to our government, but we can always work together with the government which speaks our voice.
And if you don't want to speak your voice to a survey, then it's okay. We always have your back. You can always share your thoughts on our forum. In these pictures, We invite representatives of children of every sub-district in Surabaya to share their thoughts about Surabaya. And if you're wondering if we can step things up, we always can. We can have a routine discussion with the mayor. Even our mayor, Mr. Eri Cahyadi, said himself that we cannot build the city alone. In city building, and that's why we said that being involved in city building will be an easy and fun thing to do. And if you think school is boring, you should come to Surabaya. Just like restaurant in Tokyo, we do something different and better here. Like making sure every child gets to learn and grow side by side. And yes, that absolutely includes our friends with disabilities too. Our school had awesome inclusive education programs where kids with all kinds of abilities learn in the same classroom. It helps us understand each other better. But the learning doesn't stop there. We also have Rumah Anak Prestasi, a special place that gives children with disabilities a chance to learn traditional dance, to learn music instrument, and all the things that he or they want to learn. When everyone gets there together, our school and communities become truly welcoming places for everyone. Have you ever heard about think globally and act locally? This isn't just a catchy phrase in Surabaya. It's how we live and how we learn. In our school, we cherish our rich local language, like Japanese. And to truly speak to the world, we learn English, opening doors to new idea, culture, and global friendships. And that's why every Friday we focus on learning and speaking English. And this way, we are not just ready for tomorrow, but we're ready for anywhere. And we know it's hard to learn and play when you're hungry, right? That's why our city provides a completely free nutritious meal, and these meals are balanced to give us the energy and nutrition we need to focus in class, participate in activities, and grow healthy.
Before we move to the next topic, let me ask you all a question. Who amongst us whose parents are Superman or Wonder Woman? They are never tired. They never look tired at all. But the reality is different. Sometimes work can be a bit hectic at home. But in our city, Surabaya, there is something impressive called Puspaga, which is, as you may know, is family learning centers. Puspaga centers are everywhere. Their main goal is about the mental well-being of the whole family. They offer nice counseling and talk to us better talk to us better and create a happier family. Here's another interesting part. The government offers free daycare in their facility. This is interesting to help busy parents, because this is a real solution. This can be a solution faced by parents living in places, for instance, Tokyo, who sometimes find difficulties to balance work and family time. With Puspaga and these daycare facilities, our families become stronger and our parents can work in peace. This is also a huge part of what makes Surabaya truly a child-friendly city, where every family is supported and to grow together. And when it comes to our safety, we know exactly where to turn. The Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Child's Protection has a special hotline called SAPA 129. It's a national call center that all of the Indonesian people can access. If a woman or a child faces violence, abuse, and needs urgent help, they can call 129 directly. Knowing this quick and responsive system, it makes us feel much more secure in our child-friendly city. You can also go anonymous if you want and have a good counseling without exposing your identity. What? Not engaging enough? What about this?
This is the fun that we always have in Surabaya, the CFCI UNICEF International Forum in China, where we have the opportunities to share our vision about CFCI, just like this. And National Children's Day, we celebrate it every year at July 23rd. That's our day, so we express our hobbies, have academic and non-academic competitions, and enjoying the show. Our hopes for tomorrow. Our journey to build a child-friendly city in Surabaya is a continuous one, and we're always looking forward. We dream of a future where children's voices are not just heard, but are a part of every education made for our city. We hope to see even more new, exciting programs and for technology to be accessed in ways that make our lives even better and safer. And of course, more green space where we can play and grow. Our biggest hope is for Surabaya to be a place where every child doesn't just survive, but truly thrive, raising their full potential and active, happy citizen. Remember when you build a child-friendly city for children,
you build a city for everyone. Our voices, the voices of young people, are truly powerful.
Please, let's working together, learn from each other, and create a world where every child can grow, shine, and live their dreams.
thank you for listening to our story and our dreams for Surabaya. We are happy to answer any question you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's join our campaign to raise awareness about online child safety. And please, stand up and let's sing with us. Video, please.
Now, please, if you have any question about our program, we'd love to hear that.
And we'd love to answer that.
Now, I would like to ask thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Surabaya. Now we will begin the question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
Thank you for your presentation. Please excuse me for speaking English, Japanese.
So what was different from Japan was that the government level, you have a lot of activities at government level. So in Japan, we are still small. So in order to expand our activities in Japan, we would like to understand what kind of awareness raising activities you've done before you have such bigger scale. We would like to learn from you. Is there any advice for that?
Okay, thank you so much for the questions, and we will love to answer that. And we're a big city with over 100,000 children. And if the children rate is big, then we have a big fun too, right? Like what exactly are the activities that we're doing? So meaningful participation at policy level, that we're going to do that by the children voice every year. And the forum that we have with our mayor and the children and the city departments, all of them. And for the fun part is, we're not just discuss about the policy, but we're having fun. Such as Duta Insan, who we're protecting children from risk of online, right? And as you look at that, that's Oxea. Oxea is the risk of online from children. And that's the fun part, right? And we're going to socialize it with the dance, we're going to socialize it with the singing, and it's the fun part. And we love to tailor everything to a children level. So we're not a government. We're not a mayor who tell everything by a serious language. We're tailoring everything serious into a children level. So they can having fun, so they can enjoy while they protecting their city, their answer, and they are children that have most fun part in the city, but they also have a meaningful participation. So the conclusion is we're having fun in every aspect of our life. In school, we're having fun. In speaking English, we're having fun. In speaking Japanese, we're having fun. All of us are having fun in our own ways, in our abilities. Hope that helps and hope that answers the questions.
Thank you.
You mentioned that all students are taught in the same class. Is that hard or overwhelming for the teachers? How does it work?
Okay, about disability children, we have a group, about disability children, right? We have a classification about the disability children in our classroom. So the teacher is teach the disability children is about ability about the children. So the disability children can learn and play with another friends in the classroom. So we have not classification or like discrimination. So the teacher and the friends, it's so supportful. We are support system. So we are enjoy and we can learn and play together as fully. Thank you.
And I think you guys have to know the reason behind all those programs. Like why is us telling disability children or all children with some special kinds into the same class, right? Like, what? Are the curriculum is all the same? Are we forcing children with disabilities to do normal thing or regular things? No. The reason why we do that is because we want every children's character in Surabaya is good. We want them to respect each other. So there is no bullying around them. There is no hate around them. So we have to prevent anything bad for the children with disabilities and children with a regular basis. I think that happens.
Thank you.
So you told us that Surabaya is a very big city. How can you reach a broad public of different children from all over your city?
How we reach them is how we have a special forum called Surabaya Children Forum. And that's connect with the government. And of course, it's linear. It connects with every student, right? So we just don't have like elementary school only or junior high school only forum. We have a forum for everyone. And we're not just discriminating for the special needs children. No, we're not discriminating, or we prevent discrimination for every children. So I don't want, or we don't want to know, or we don't want to hear that. I don't want to listen to your opinion. I don't want to listen to your argument because you're like this, your character is not good. No. And that is the thing that we have to work together, how we make the characters better. And that's the thing we discuss about. And we don't want to exactly, if your character not good enough, quote unquote, yeah, and that's the thing that we have to work, not discriminate. We still have to hear them, unless it's a criminal thing. Unless it's a criminal thing, that is the police and the stakeholders work. I think that's it. Thank you.
Other questions?
The song was really fun. I just want to say that first.
Thank you.
But kind of relating to that, because like you guys were saying, oh, you want to make it fun and like kind of fun for the kids, right? Has there ever been any kind of like, because I feel like if you make it too fun or like too easy, the government might not take you guys seriously. Has there ever been anything like that, or have they been like very supportive the whole time?
Okay, thank you for the question. So shout out to our friend in Central Java, because they are the one who make this song. Like, give applause to them, man. They are the ones who make this fun song. Okay, so for answering your questions, yes, of course, they are a risk of having a fun forums. There's always a risk of anything. And if there any accident happen or the government did not take us seriously, I think that's not yet happened yet. Because we agree on regulation. We're not agree on regulation that if you're not like this, then you're wrong. No. We agree on basis, we agree on something. We agree on principle. Nah. So if we agree on a principle, so the main objective is we have to learn the children because the children, the parliaments are ones to hear about the children's opinions. So we agree on that thing. And if there any governor or any city department worker that doesn't appreciate, I think they will lose with the majority. Because the majority of us and the character of Indonesia, especially Asian, is they respect each other, right? I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. The example is today in Surabaya have activity is National Children Day, and we have play with our friends with our committee, but we have play too with other children, but we have focused about to our work, so we can have fun, but we have focused to our work. So the government is not complain about our activities is too much fun or too much focus because we must balance our work. That's all from me. Thank you.
Wait, I think I have to add something, yeah, because it's a missing key point. Like this, we have a lot of abilities, different children, different abilities, right? So if the children agree or discuss on the part that they don't hear anything or they don't understand anything about it, then we cannot force them to do that. So where we want them here, we want them to express their feeling or argument because we want them to be heard. Because there will several parts of the audience, universal audience can want to hear, like what's the thing that could be improved. And we believe that everything has a room for upgrading. Thank you.
Other question? Now, I would like to ask Director from the Liaison Office for Child-Oriented Policies leading Tokyo's delegation. Do you have any thoughts on the representation?
Thank you for your wonderfully fun presentation. The dance is one of the highlights of the day. We can learn a lot of things from you. At the same time, I think that the topics around us is common, even though we live in different cities. I would like to work together toward the realization of a child-friendly city. The children are the main principal players of the next era. I can imagine a bright future of Surabaya. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, the group from Taipei will give their presentation.
Greetings, everyone. On behalf of the Youth Advisory Committee of Taipei City, I'd like to share with you some thoughts on how youth-friendly cities can be done by implementing diversity and resilience. But first of all, this might be unlike the previous discussions on, let's say, including children, but that is only a part of the action, but we wanted to make it into some values that we both, every part of this discussion agree on. All right, so we'll start. Back in before 2024, the Sub-Agency of Department of Education, there's a Taipei City Youth Development and Family Education Center, where this center focuses on youth development and family well-being, which is something we consider a sub-agency that includes two different missions. And in this case, most of the youth development focuses on protection. However, protection has to be changed into participation, engagement, and inclusion after this policy changing and the world changing. So the Department for Youth Taipei City Government was established. The focus was on, is currently on youth-friendly and international, both parts. So for youth-friendly, there are diverse participation and also career development. Secondly, for international, we want to promote the international engagement. In this case, we get two concepts. First of all, the youth resilience, which is literacy for youth to adapt, grow, and thrive in the face of challenges. And in this case, they can survive after these challenges, they can face these circumstances. And secondly, what would cause them to face these circumstances? The development. So we want to make sure that they can have opportunities to explore and succeed in different life paths, in different careers. And in this case, we have already got the concept of how Taipei's approach is when it comes to agency changing, but we would like to tell you in various policies, and we'll split into different case studies, and let's begin.
Okay, in the face of rapidly shifting intergenerational challenges, intergenerational challenges. Children who are the future of our city must not have their voices merely protected. Their voice need to be actively included in the very processes of policy making. In Taipei, we are taking Congress Day to embody this vision by implementing UN Convention on the Right of Child. We have established the Child and Youth Advisory Committee to protect their voices. This initiative transforms children from passive recipients of potential into active participants with a voice in shaping their own future. This approach is more than policy innovation. It's a response to growing demand for resilience in urban democratic governance. As we look toward virtual makes go further. One critical area is strengthening the right of association for young people. Under the Taiwan current Civil Associations Act, children under the age of 18 are not allowed from a civic organization. However, despite the current limits, Taipei city government still actively guarantee our voices. For example, Taipei's Department of Youth Affairs has launched the With You program. This initiative empowers high school students to propose their own idea and apply for resource. This is in inclusion in action. Our vision must be to create a society where children and youth are not only be protected, and only then can we build a city that is truly inclusive, resilient, and ready for challenge of tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to accessible cities, I believe that everyone knows that even in the future, barriers of one kind or another will always be a part of human society. And children by nature, they are among the most vulnerable in our communities. And for children with disability, like they often face layers of disadvantage becoming, in many ways, the most vulnerable among the vulnerable. And they require not only the protection, but our commitment to ensure that their voice are heard. Because without children, there is no future. And please imagine that a city, every child's voice that includes those with disability is not only listened to, but actually actively to shape the way that we build our shared space. A city where children work alongside us and using technology, creativity, and collaboration to design an environment that is truly inclusive city. Yes, and a place where diversity is celebrated and every child can thrive. And creating such city is not simply to just remove the physical barriers and institutional barriers as well. It means the remaining accessibility not as an afterthought, but as the foundation. It means seeing children not as passive recipients of care, but as co-creators of solutions and bring their perspectives, ideas, innovation to the table. And this vision challenges to move beyond a token gesture of inclusion. And it invites us to build a city where accessible and equity is woven into every existence. And where children with disability can empower to dream, design, or even lead. And only that we can say we are building a truly friendly, resilient, and inclusive city, and one that reflects the richness of all its people. And people talk about, and please, everyone, please look at the PowerPoint at the bottom right corner, that because in the end, that the city works for its most vulnerable children, that is a city works for everyone. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to talk about how Taipei is striving to become a more youth-friendly and resilient city by improving youth's international engagement. In an era where globalization drives the world, I believe that cultivating international awareness and embracing diverse perspectives are key to helping our next generation stand strong and look confidently toward the future. To achieve this, we have devoted significant effort to promoting international education. As a leading city in implementing Taiwan's 2030 bilingual education policy, over 80% of Taipei's public elementary schools are now offering bilingual programs. Among them, more than 52% conduct at least 1/3 of their courses in English. The number of schools participating in these bilingual initiatives continues to grow at a rate of 10% each year. Next page. To nurture students' language abilities, many Taipei schools are now building bilingual campuses. In addition to hiring native-speaking teachers and designing curriculum that strengthens foundational English skills, schools regularly host English competitions such as teaching contests, reading theaters performances, and reading competitions. By the time students reach junior and senior high school, some even participate in English drama competitions, further sharpening their fluency in using the language. Moreover, Taipei has been actively supporting international opportunities for youth. For instance, in March this year, the Taipei city government supported a team made of 7 schools in Taipei, known as the Taipei Alliance, to travel to the United States and compete in the FRC robotics competition. There, they exchange valuable ideas and compete and gain valuable experiences, and also broadening their global outlook. Finally, I'd like to introduce a unique aspect, the Sister School Project. Many schools in Taipei have established sister school relationships with institutions overseas, forming lasting relationships and friendships. These partnerships involve cultural exchange activities such as friendly sports matches, joining local class to experience how subjects are taught in Taiwan, and guided tours around Taipei. It's like a tour guide by the local students. And through these experiences, students not only improve their language skills and improve cultural understanding, but also gain advantages for their future and academic development. A great example is the partnership between Zhongshan Girls High School and Sumiyoshi High School in Osaka, Japan. With the support of teachers, students carried out a full exchange project by themselves. And later, hosting Japanese students in for classroom and cultural exchanges, and later visiting Osaka in return this February. The bonds formed during these exchanges are genuine, long-lasting, and deeply meaningful. By empowering youth with global vision, language skills, and opportunities to grow through cultural exchanges, Taipei is building the seeds of resilience in the next generation.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about sports then. I know this probably isn't like the presentation you guys are expecting, since we're talking about how you can actually help children gain a better city, but I still think this is quite a meaningful thing, especially in a country in Asia like Taiwan. I know for instance, Dublin, you guys say sports is a huge part of your school curriculum. Well, I don't think that's necessarily true for Taiwan. We literally have like 2 PE classes each week, and I think that's not a lot, and I think that having more emphasis in sports is quite important. However, with the dawn of like the Olympics last year, I'm sure all of you know, Taiwan does have more improvements and there's more investments as well in terms of like funding sports and etc. So firstly, I just want to talk about like few like Taiwanese support systems for like these student athletes, because we know that there are some like support systems and Taiwan has been making like progression towards these things. So firstly, the Ministry of Education has a lot of scholarships and subsidies for these sports athletes and student athletes. There's also National Sports Training Center stipends, a push for Ministry of Sports in 2025 September, which is this year, and I'm extremely excited for that. And also there are multiple things like local support for school teams, tuition, training, travel, and international competition costs. All of these things are relatively new, and we agree that it's a step towards the future. However, this probably isn't going to be enough. I'm going to tell you a story here, which is because I myself am a student athlete. I've personally witnessed a lot of people struggling because they don't have enough funds either to go to a competition or to literally like pay for their equipment. For instance, one of the saber fencing teams in one of the high schools that I think is one of like the best high schools in the entire country dropped out of a competition, not because they don't have enough skills, not because they lack coaches, but simply because they don't have enough blades and masks. Personally, I feel like this was a huge like shock towards me, because it was then do I realize like these problems are visceral and are extremely important, and it's really important for us to address it right now. So why is this important and why does this matter? There are 2 main things that I want to talk about here. Firstly, on promoting diversity and inclusion. So I think that sport opens up more opportunities for students regardless of the income, gender, or region, simply because sports is an equal playing field. Multiple people, if you're able to give them like the stipends, give them the funding, they're able to build off of themselves. And notably, like most of the sports students and athletes within Taiwan are part of the lower or middle income like households. Therefore, we say that this is a quite important policy and it's very important for us to help fund them. But secondly, it encourages indigenous and rural youth to pursue sports and creates role models for all communities. And especially here, I want to note that these role models are extremely important, because when you do have someone you can look up towards, that's when you get the motivation to actually pursue your dreams and pursue your career. That is extremely meaningful. But then secondly, it also builds a lot of resilience. So student athletes need to balance academics and also rigorous training daily. I literally go back home like 11 p.m. every single day because I have to balance my training as well as my studies, right? So therefore, it is quite hard for you to simultaneously be a student and be someone that's pursuing the career and going to like a sports competition. But also, it also teaches discipline, perseverance, and teamwork. And I think that funding itself and giving more stipends allows them to focus, grow, and overcome barriers. I want to illustrate these barriers here then, because I think the barriers aren't just like only like, oh, I don't have equipment. It also goes beyond that. It goes into the mental health area. Because think about this. If you're a family and you're part of a low-income household, you are literally trying to figure out if you can have a next meal. You need to figure out who is going to take care of your siblings. All these are really, really important problems that contribute to the mental block of athletes. And this in of itself creates a continuous cycle of like more and more pressure and more mental health issues. And we say that only when you have more funding towards these athletes are you able to overcome that. So what does the future look like then? And I just want to like leave behind this message, which is just that funding means more equity and excellence, and it's also an investment that governments can make. Because when you're able to take something as entertaining as sports and develop this, and like Tokyo actually does, we say that that's when you get more and more investments into these things, and you also have a more stronger inclusive future and build a more united and resilient and inspiring Taiwan. All these should be the end goal of like all of the policies, and we think that sports is something extremely meaningful and could actually benefit everyone on the ground and all from all walks of life. Thank you.
Great, let's get to children's rights. Due to the technical difficulty of the pointer that we faced, I might need 1 or 2 minutes extra. So I'll start with 2 quotes that you may not have seen. Open Knowledge Foundation Deutschland has mentioned that digital technologies can create different opportunities for civil engagement and also civil organizations. On the opposite, Lawrence Lessig, which is a Harvard Law School professor, has mentioned that the development of AI will lead to the end of democracy. If you're interested in the background and what causes these two sentences, I can share later after the speech, but let's focus on the conflict between those. There are three different paths that digital can have impact on democracy. First of all is the policymaking process has been changed into either data-driven or using technology tools to support the policymaking. Secondly, when it comes to the use of tools, we have the ethics use and we have the probably unethical use, including censorship, including surveillance, including control of information, and etc. That is the second path that it can impact democracy. But most importantly, the complexity of human rights issue is not something that we can just, I'm not sure how many countries that have a constitution law that includes digital rights, that includes privacy. At least in Taiwan, we don't have privacy in our constitution, but we have to use a constitution court to further add privacy into the constitution. So we'll focus on the increasing complexity of human rights issue over here. This is what I've done in 2024, which is last year. I have supported the legislation, actually started the legislation of for the data autonomy in education for students cooperating with the Ministry of Education in Taiwan. It was quite tricky because those are legal framework modifications, and when we're modifying it, we are focusing on the legal framework. For legal framework, it is only a single perspective when it comes to the digital rights issue. So I'd like to share my opinion and the approach to further establish children's digital rights. So the first login regulation, as I've mentioned, it is the basic, it is the, I would say, most important structure of all, that it would authorize the competent authority to work to further do actions. And when it comes to the competent authority, they can use education to implement something we would call digital literacy. And of course, the law and regulation will also support what is digital literacy. So right now we have some core structures in Taiwan that includes digital literacy, but we're still not sure what the definition is, because it's not yet resolved. There are some conflicts, there are some, I would say, different meanings of digital literacy. So I'd like to share a definition that might work and most likely will work, which is the Judicial Reform Foundation draft of Digital Bill of Rights, Article 10, that every person has the right to education and lifelong learning that enables existence in the digital age. What does this mean? You can either learn the use of digital tools, you can either learn what your rights you have in digital issues. Digital impact on human rights is really large, that maybe the constitution, maybe the law, maybe all the past statements of law cannot follow. And in this case, we need to have more education for people to stand up and realize what rights they have. Overall, we have already talked about 5 different issues. I'd like to share that this is the logo of the Department for Youth Taipei City Department. This is not an advertisement of the design, but the design itself has great meaning. For these different shapes, you might see a smile. Yes, the smile means we're happy, but that's not important. The most important thing is, well, by different shapes, we include each kind of people inside our system, inside our policy making. That is inclusivity and diversity. Most importantly, with these, we are able to form creativity and innovation in our policymaking. And not just for policymaking, also for the discussion platform. That will be our presentation for today. Thank you so much. We hope to form a children-friendly city through these, let's say, diversity and also for resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Taipei. Now we will begin the question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
Wow, that's plenty of questions.
You said you encourage youth to bring up issues. How do they do that? Like, how would they bring issues towards you?
Excuse me. Bring issues to...
Like to us. Like you mentioned that youth are encouraged to bring up issues that they have, and how would they do that?
Sorry. do you mean the process of making things happen, of probably giving suggestions and advisory?
Yeah, like proposing ideas.
So for if you're talking about the Taipei City Committee, where we have, as already mentioned yesterday, that we have a committee structure of task force meeting and committee meeting. And in fact, that is not the only path to participate in public policy making. In fact, in Taipei, there are, not just in Taipei, actually, the whole Taiwan, we have so many different ways of participating and let's say even engagement in these public issues, including some platforms of digital proposal that already has been established previously, and also if you want to apply for at least like Taipei City Open Data, there's a specific button at the Taipei Open Data website that you can click to apply for more data. So by understanding, which is I would say transparency and also inclusivity, that you can participate in those discussions, there are plenty of, let's say, pathways and platforms. Hope that answers your question.
It did, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I read it right, but in your presentation there was a thing about your voices being represented by other people due to the law. Do you find that difficult, having your voice being given by someone else?
Is that a statement? Is that our statement? I'm not sure which part do you mean, but
It was in like the first part. It said
engagement?
like due to the like law in Taipei.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Your voice, because of civic associations, because you're under 18, you can't.
Well, let me
that
explain this in this way. So in Taiwan, you cannot establish a civil organization if you're under 18. That is the law. But however, you don't really need, I would say it is a path, it is a method for you to have gather the voices of youth. But in this case, right now we're in this committee. In fact, in this committee, we're all as individuals. And there are so many ways to provide your opinions, your suggestions as an individual, aside from civil associations. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you believe that the bilingual schools have had a positive effect?
I think so. Because like Taipei has started their bilingual education since like we're elementary school or more like kindergarten. So my answer is yes. Like I have to say, like in our school, like if you grab any people in our school, like if you ask them English questions or if you talk to them in English, I can say that they can reply you in a fluent English. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to add on a bit because I personally also am within a bilingual like school, so I think there are pros and cons of this, right? Because while like it is true that you get like both languages, you're quite fluent, sometimes like it feels like a us versus them mentality when it comes to like other types of schools that don't use the bilingual system. So oftentimes, because my school, there's like a bilingual sector and like a traditional sector. So oftentimes there is a bit of a conflict because like of the way things work, how they think we're like a bit radical because of our thoughts. And like there obviously are some conflicts between these things, but I think working towards like making more schools bilingual is probably something that's good because language is something that can overcome barriers, and I believe that that's quite good. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I really enjoyed the fresh and creative perspective you guys gave us on these issues. And I wanted to ask, how does your organization help address the issues you guys have mentioned? Are you close with your government and policymakers? Can you share some process with us of how that happens?
Yeah. So the process is, again, stated as yesterday, but I'll get into more details. So what we really do is, when the task force meeting happens, we are discussing the feasibility and the perspectives and the impact of each kind of proposal that we have proposed into the committee, and how it helps us get this perspective. In fact, this perspective, I would say, if you talk about diversity, inclusivity, creativity, innovation, those are probably the values that people care the most, because it is something that has been written in our heart, that's for sure. But how does our, let's say, committee, organization, policy discussion support us to realize this part is that in our committee we have various kinds of participants and representatives. It's not just us over here and as a team. We also have some, of course, they're youth, but probably already working and probably graduated and or even university students. So in this case, with this, we can see how policy has been established and how the impact, the outcome of it after a few years, and it's like a matter of discussion, matter of perspective from these representatives. So in this case, I would say the discussion style or the platform that provides us to discuss, to just spread out all the issues and we start discussing on it. It's a great platform for you to realize what is the main value that might fit, because diversity and inclusivity might be the definition for Taipei, and I'm sure it might also fit many of the other cities, but sometimes the value has to be defined and discussed in each kind of political environment. Thank you.
Other question? Now I would like...
Okay, thank you. How do you deal with politicians that think you outsmart them?
Outsmart them? Well, how do we deal when politicians tell us that we're outsmarting them?
Yes.
That's an interesting question. Wait, you're sure you're not wrong? We outsmart politicians, not politicians outsmart us?
Okay.
Which one?
You're smarter, man.
Well, right. Well, I would say here's the environment of Taipei, or at least most cities of Taiwan, that when we are discussing, at least from my personal experience, when we're discussing, you are respected as either a representative or a professional at the same time. If you can provide your opinion on this specific issue, your experience is important. If you can provide professional perspective when it comes to knowledge that requires further analysis and survey, and you can answer them, well, we'll treat you as a professional, at least for the city. And so we don't have really faced with this kind of issue, that the environment allows us to say what you really think of and provide, at least they were considered valuable suggestions. So fortunately, we don't have to face that kind of issue, but if you'd like me to reply you if I really face that kind of issue, how would I deal with that, is to find a better frequency on discussion, that probably your frequency right now is not fitting what they would like to, it's not that friendly or not that positive for them, just for them. So sometimes if you want to do some policy advocacy, you might need to think what is the best communication method or style. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the very interesting presentation. I have a question. In what ways can existing constitution or laws become obstacle to protecting human rights in the digital age? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. That's very important, and also one of the major things that I've mentioned in my part on digital rights. The great thing is that our constitution it actually mentions about human rights and all those children rights, but what I was mentioning is that it's a big area. We say, oh, you have freedom, but freedom of what? We have freedom of speech written, but how about freedom of internet use? Sometimes the accessibility or something is not mentioned directly, so we need some constitutional court to support that. And in this case, I would say there are two different methods. First of all, of course, legal work, but legal work is a very big, I would say, barrier for not just children participants on public issues, but also even for politicians and real public sector workers. So I would say the second path is to find a way that these things can be solved in progress. In my case that I've mentioned about the digital rights, the constitution right now, or even the legal structure right now, does not include, let's say as an example, you can choose what phone you want to use. You can choose you want to use iOS or Android. That's a kind of alternative right. And that kind of a right is something that will not be defined in current legal framework, but what you can do is tell people that, hey, you actually got this right. And if you can't, if you are stuck in some kind of agreement, it doesn't make sense. So that is what comes back to the digital literacy, that literacy is knowing what to use, what to do, and also what you should have. So I would say those two paths are my personal perspective and personal experience when it comes to how to deal with the legal framework when it comes to children rights, and etc. Thank you. Any other questions? I think we're taking too long of time.
Wait, sorry. Before we move on, I wanted to say all of our things and all of the things we presented today, we wouldn't have done it without four wonderful individuals who accompanied us. So we'd like to really, really thank them for giving us the opportunity and also being able to bring us here and also help us build our policies. So yeah, huge shout out towards them. Thank you.
Now I would like to ask the chaperone from the delegation Home Blues. Do you have any thoughts on the presentation?
Yes. First of all, we want to thank you for your speech. We recognize a similarity when it comes to multilingualism. In Belgium, there is also a strong focus on language education, as we have 3 official languages, Dutch, French, and German. And students learn these at school, plus English. We also share your attention for the challenges of AI and the importance of inclusive education. These are indeed key themes within this broader topic. Thank you for bringing them forward today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are going to take a 10 minutes break here. The next presentation will be given by Tokyo at 4:50. Please return your seats by that time. Thank you.
これもダメで2つぐらいちょっともらってきていいですか。
Welcome back, everyone. And now the group from Tokyo will give the final presentation. First, we will introduce the Tokyo Basic Ordinance on Children and Relevant Measures taken in Tokyo. And following that, share our vision for a child-friendly city, focusing on three perspectives: the environment, child-oriented policies, and intercultural choices.
Hi everyone. We will make a presentation about Tokyo. Thank you for having us today. As you all know, Tokyo is the capital of Japan. The city has a population of about 14 million. Tokyo has areas that has the feel of a mega city like Shibuya. It also has neighborhoods with a historic atmosphere, such as Asakusa. Tokyo also includes the Tama area with rich greenery, a group of islands like the Ogasawara Islands, which are designated a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government Basic Ordinance on Children came into effect in April 2021. This ordinance was formulated in the spirit of the UN Convention on the Rights of Children and clarifies the fundamental principles of respecting children as subjects of rights and putting the best interests of children first.
We like Article 10. People tend to believe children's view mean nothing, or that children have no right to voice their opinions. But this article says children have the right to voice their opinion, and adults should listen and consider their views.
I like Article 7 because it says that playing is part of the important rights for children.
I like Article 8 because it is about children's motivation for learning. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government has engaged in activities with us children to foster public awareness and understanding of the principles behind the ordinance.
In 2022, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government created the Basic Ordinance on Children Handbooks. About 30 children in elementary school and junior or senior high school played a central role in putting them together. 4 types of handbooks are put together separately for 1st to 3rd graders, 4th to 6th graders, junior and senior high school students, and adults. The handbooks are available in 10 languages. Opinions from children like us are incorporated in these handbooks. For example, to make the handbook for junior and senior high school students, members in that age group discuss places where they feel comfortable as teenagers. Then they concluded there were fewer places than they had thought. The first places that come to our minds as teenagers are karaoke boxes, restaurants, and other places where we have to pay to have a space. I wish there were space where we could feel safe and casually stop by for free to chat with friends.
This handbook touches on subtle feeling of anxiety unique to an adolescent who is neither a child nor an adult. When I read it, I feel relief because it showed me that I was not the only one who felt the sense of anxiety. These handbooks were made from children's point of view. We hope that they will help people understand what the ordinance is about.
In 2023, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government produced a video presenting the basic ordinance on children. Again, 21 elementary school and junior and senior high school students joined the production. When creating the video for junior high school students, we discussed what our everyday life looked like. Some of us said that they didn't have time to play because they were pressed for time every day. They are busy with homework, after-school activities club, activities school festivals, and other things to do. I certainly agree. We also have to study for high school entrance exams. Junior high schoolers are all busy.
When creating the video for senior high school students, some of us voiced the opinion that they didn't want people to judge others by their appearances. That's exactly what we feel as we go through our day-to-day lives. I agree with this opinion. If people judge others, they should do so by their appearances and actions. I hope we will live in a society where we can express ourselves more freely. This video presentation is available in full language. I would love you to watch it.
I participated in the World Campus in Ireland trip in March last year. In this program, I visited Ireland with 9 other junior and senior high school students living in Tokyo. Ireland has progressive, child-friendly policies, and we exchanged opinions with local children and made presentations about policies for children. What stands out in my memory is that Ireland has many places for teenagers where children voice their opinions and adults set up initiatives that incorporate the opinions. In March this year, another delegation of 10 junior and senior high school students from Tokyo visited Belgium, which has progressive initiatives related to policies for children. I'm so happy to see some members of Colonel from Dublin in Ireland and some members of Flemish Association of Secondary School Pupils in Belgium are here today for the forum.
Now, let me talk about the Chain Square project, which was launched last year. I participated last year's forum, which brought together 36 children from Tokyo and 3 Japanese cities, Sapporo, Chiba, and Tomiya in Miyagi Prefecture. We gave presentation on the theme of our vision for a child-friendly city. I got to talk to junior and senior high school students from different ranges. I learned a lot of new things and infamous things. I had a great time.
20 junior and senior high school students have been selected for this year's Teen Square Tokyo Project 2025 from applicants who responded to the open call. We have participated in workshops since May, where we learned about the ordinance and discussed what a child-friendly city should be like. We will talk about what we have learned, thought, and felt in detail in a presentation later.
Finally, this picture by an elementary school student in the poster contest held to raise public awareness of the Tokyo Basic Ordinance on Children. The title is "Everyone is a Hero in Tokyo, My City." It bears Japanese text meaning child-friendly Tokyo in the upper center. This picture combines a wonderful message that represents the principles of the ordinance. This is the end of our presentation. Please welcome the next group. This presentation is by the Environment Group. I'm Karen.
I'm Yui.
I'm Sugiri.
I'm Koki.
I'm Yuriko.
We participated in the Teen Square Tokyo Project workshop. This slide shows what we learned from Ms. Otani Mikiko, former chair of the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child. The major areas that should incorporate children's rights and point of view are climate change and other environment issues. You might wonder why climate change and environmental issues are the representative examples of the areas that need to incorporate children's rights and point of view. That is because today's children will be most affected by climate change and environmental issues in the future. To build a sustainable future, we believe it is really important to incorporate children's rights and point of view in these two areas.
Also, if the environment is degraded, children's rights can't be protected. For example, in recent years, Japan's summer has become hot, and so children have an increased risk of getting heat stroke and playing outside. This means children's right to play can't be protected on hot summer days.
At the Teen Square Tokyo Project workshop, we learned from Tokyo officials from the Bureau of Environment about what Tokyo does about climate change. Climate change refers to shift in weather patterns and temperatures. We learned that climate change could destroy ecosystems and beaches, erasing what had always existed. We also learned that the Tokyo metropolitan government has set the goal of cutting greenhouse gas emissions by 6% by 2035. To achieve this goal, the metropolitan government has launched an initiative to support the installation of solar panels at public facilities and new residential houses. Also, the metropolitan government has switched to electricity generated from renewables for its buildings, among other measures.
For example, in the future, next generation solar cell may be installed across the city to generate electricity. This next generation solar cell is also called a perovskite solar cell. The features of this Japanese-made product are that it's thinner and lighter than the current solar cells, and it can be bent, and so it can be installed in various places. Also, iron is used as a material for this product, and Japan has a 13% global iron market share. That means Japan can mass produce this product. I think it is fantastic to use this new solar cell. Japan is prone to earthquakes and many other natural disasters, and so having waste-free power generation would be reassuring during an emergency. The Tokyo metropolitan government publicly calls for both to choose a nickname of the solar cell, so that people would feel close to this Japanese-made product. The name Air Solar was selected this month.
Many junior and senior high school students today feel asking about the environment is a bother, but the negative impact made on the environment will come back on us after a long period of time. Since environmental issues affect our lives, we should seriously think about them. Then, what should we do to combat climate change? We believe there are three things that should be done. First, we believe more opportunities to learn about the environment should be created for children. Second, we take actions ourselves. We believe it is important to start by doing something in our day-to-day lives. For example, we should take care to switch our lights whenever they are not needed. travel on foot or by bike whenever possible, and use eco-friendly shopping bags. These small actions really matter.
Third, we should take good care of our green vegetation. Tokyo still has so much greenery. We should preserve Tokyo as a leafy city. If these three are done, I think we can create a child-friendly city. Children are important members of society. We hope to live in a society where climate change and environmental issues are properly addressed and all children have hope for the future. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.
This presentation is by the Child-Oriented Policy Group. I'm Tsugumi.
I'm Yana.
I am Asumi.
I'm Momo.
I'm Cosmo.
I'm Moyu.
Thank you for coming here today.
When you are worried or have a problem, what do? Some people might carry their worries or problems all by themselves. Some of us teenagers ask adults or friends for advice, and many talk to AI about it.
This slide shows art. This slide shows article included in the Tokyo Basic Ordinance on Children. Please look at Article 9. I believe this support means a lot to people who have something that worries or troubles them. About Article 13, I had a difficult time when I had a fight with a friend in elementary school, but I got help from my teacher and family, so I felt relieved. That's why I find this article really important.
At the Teen Square Tokyo Project workshop, we learned about the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's Good Chat Project. The Good Chat Project is a chat service for children and families raising their children. Users can anonymously talk about what's on their mind and ask for advice from various people, such as psychologists and graduate students easily. We will talk about what we thought about the Good Chat Project. Children live in smaller communities than adults. To children, especially adolescents, who have a lot on their minds, having a system they can turn to means a great deal. But many children would feel pleasure and become nervous if they have to ask and answer questions face to face. We thought Good Chat must work great for these children because they can use it anonymously online to receive advice with ease. They don't have to have their own cell phones to use Good Chat, and what they say in the chat will never be known to anyone else, which makes them feel safe to use the service. This is such a helpful project, but it has just been launched and it's not yet known as widely as it should. In fact, I hadn't known about it before the workshop. I think it's important to publicize the service more and make it known and available to people who need it, so that children burdened with worries will feel relieved as soon as possible.
This good project has a mascot named Guppy. I find Guppy likable and lovely. Guppy looks cute and has a sweet voice. The rounded shape,
coupled with the design featuring pink or soothing. Some of us may hesitate to talk about what's on their mind. If an adult is replying to us on GitHub, it would be great if we could receive replies in voice of a guppy, not an adult.
As children living in Tokyo, we discussed what is always on our minds. We found out many of us have worries about friends and families. Many are also anxious about high school or college entrance exams and what to do after finishing school. Because of these uncertainties, some children choose to stop going to school. To relieve these stress and anxiety children have, we believe that these three things are needed.
First, we should be aware that talking about what's on our minds and asking for help is nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone has something to worry about, and talking about it with someone makes us feel better. Second, we should reach out. Taking responsibility for what we say is not easy, but we think it's necessary to take a courageous step to reach out and talk to friends who have a difficult time. Third, we should build good relationships with people around us so that we can share what's on our minds with them. It is important to have relationships with people in which we care about and support each other in daily life, even when we are free from worries.
We sometimes face worries and fears of different kinds in our lives, but we are not alone. We have a place where we can ask for help, like Good Chat. We also have friends we can talk to about our problems. The age or gender of the friend doesn't matter. As long as we are connected with each other, we can feel safe and comfortable in everyday life. When each of us makes effort to create an environment like this, we are heading in a direction of a child-friendly city. We hope that Tokyo will become a city where everyone feels even safer and more comfortable than now.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we are the last, and we are the Intercultural Cohesion Group. I'm Mion.
I'm Mitsu.
I'm Rui. I'm Eddie.
Jen?
And I'm Sarah.
So, what society do you imagine when you hear the word intercultural cohesion? Intercultural cohesion means people of different backgrounds, such as nationality and ethnicity, accept their cultural differences and live together as members of the local society while working to build a relationship of equality. The Tokyo Basic Ordinance on Children includes the phrase, "without leaving a child behind." We believe it is important that everyone can live comfortably, regardless of differences in nationality, ethnicity, and culture. It will be wonderful to live in a society where children can all be themselves and accepted as they are. And this is the society where no children will be left behind as we imagine it.
At the Teen Square Tokyo Project Workshop, we learn about intercultural cohesion. Foreign residents in Tokyo has been increasing. The number of them has almost doubled from 2.9% to 5.2% over the 20 years between 2004 and 2025. Tokyo has a population of about 14 million and 720,000 are foreign residents. As for their nationalities, about 40% are Chinese, followed by South Korean and Vietnamese. So the Tokyo metropolitan government takes measures to create a society where foreign residents will be able to live as comfortably as Japanese residents. Foreign children of our age are also increasing. We hope we live in a society where these children will also feel comfortable.
One of them, measures the Tokyo metropolitan government has implemented, is an initiative to spread the use of plain Japanese for residents who have some command of the Japanese language but don't understand difficult writing. Plain Japanese refers to a version of Japanese that is designed to be easier for foreign residents to understand. In general, Japanese people imagine foreign residents speak English, but 70% of foreign residents understand plain Japanese, and more than 80% of these residents would love to get information in plain Japanese. Yet, about 60% of Japanese people don't know about this version of Japanese. We think that the first key step is that Japanese people learn about plain Japanese and actively use it. It is important for us to study English, but we believe it is also important to spread the use of plain Japanese.
The Tokyo metropolitan government has also prepared the help card for foreign nationals to support foreign residents in an emergency. The card holder can just point at the text to communicate what they want, like calling an ambulance, which we found brilliant. When a disaster happens, people in a local community must help each other. It would be terrible if some people couldn't escape because of a barrier between Japanese and foreign residents. We thought staying connected with the local community in normal times is also essential.
To make intercultural cohesion a reality and to create a society where no children will be left behind, we believe the following three things should be done. First, we should all learn about and try to understand culture that are different than ours. We should introduce our respective culture to each other for intercultural understanding. It is also important not to reject people with different views. We should accept them first, and so we can reach out to each other. Second, we should offer various forms of support. Foreign residents especially tend to have difficulty communicating in Japanese and navigating Japanese public system. We believe it is necessary to offer language assistance, help them understanding system, and offer emotional support so that they can be part of their local community. Third, we should do what we can do in our everyday setting. For example, we could show how to play Japanese game to children from foreign countries. I would love to volunteer in a program to teach Japanese to foreign residents.
To close, we'd like to introduce the winning artwork from the poster competition. As you can see, it's wonderful to see the drawings show children from many different backgrounds. We believe that when you're surrounded by diversity, your way of thinking naturally grows and evolves through conversation, through play, and through connection. That's how we can shape a child-friendly city for everyone. This concludes our presentation as well as all other presentations. Thank you very much for listening.
Now we will begin the question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you have a question.
Hi, I'm gonna ask a question. I'm kind of interested in how the child safety in Tokyo, but I'm gonna speak in little Japanese. Tokyo で東京では子供が
In
学校
Tokyo,
家まで一人で帰ることが
I think it is typical for school children to go back to school alone from school to their home. And in order to secure their safety, what measures are taken in Tokyo? Yes, thank you for your question. So, the crime rate in Japan is extremely low, so it's unusual for students to be involved in crime or danger when they go back from school to home. But at my school, we were given alert alarm device. So, and it's easy to trigger the alarm. Just pulling the device, it triggers the alarm. So it's distributed for all of the school children, for elementary school, and we have a volunteer activity to watch children's safety when they go to school and coming back from school. So that's how we try to secure children's safety in Tokyo.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. It was really great. Okay, we all know that Tokyo is far at the technology-wise, yeah. Tokyo is far upward, and Indonesia is one of the richest cultural-wise. So I want to ask why children in Tokyo still appreciate and live with the culture of old Tokyo, like Asakusa. I just want to know. So we have to prevent all the children in Indonesia to forget their culture. So I just want to know what makes you happy or what makes you appreciate your culture. Thank you so much.
ですね、学校行事として歌舞伎を見に
We go on a school trip to watch kabuki. So we have like traditional events. We have like annual all occasions to experience traditional culture, like kimono and the festivals. It is in harmony. So it's not old culture actually. It's a living culture that we live by. So that's how we perceive the kimono or festivals.
Interesting and very cool presentation. My question is, does word encourage children from all cultures to speak up about the problems they experience, not just be represented by adults?
Was that a question?
So, like, you ask about the mental health? Is it correct?
No.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Does word encourage children from all cultures to speak up about the problems they experience, not just be represented by adults?
So the places where children can voice their issues or concerns are increasing, but compared to other countries, I think Japan is still lagging behind. So we have less places to do so. But one in the presentation was about the good chat service. Sometimes we have opportunities to express our opinions to Tokyo Metropolitan Government. So we're starting to see more platforms so that we can speak up by ourselves. And also, it, our activity has a several screening process, so it's open call, but it's only limited to limited children. So one of the opinion that we have is that if we can increase the number of children who can participate in this kind of activities, and I think the more children can speak up, so that their voices will be reflected to the policy making.
I was just wondering about, you guys mentioned like one of your groups was about climate change, and I was just wondering how much education you get on that, and if you get it in school, or where would you get your information about climate change?
Food culture in Japan, like fish and sushi, has a lot of relationship with climate change. So we consider with ownership. But in school, rather than school education, it's rather left to individuals' interest. That's my personal view as a child. So I would like to see a national level or bigger promotion of educational or environmental education. And of course, it depends on the schools. Some schools place a lot of importance on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And in such programs, they allow students and children to go visit places where the environmental impact is large. So, depending on schools, there are different programs. Thank you for asking the question.
Thank you for the every good presentation. Let me ask you questions. Do children from poor or immigrant families in Tokyo receive the same support in access to education and health service as Japanese children in general?
So at school, we have volunteer program, and I have heard about challenges that the immigrant children are facing, and in many cases, their parents cannot speak Japanese, so there is a gap of education level that they can receive because they don't have enough information around school entrance exam and the information around study. And in many cases, children do not have enough information.
Thank you.
Any other question?
I want to ask again. Tokyo no
The educational system in Tokyo, how do they respond to children who do not want to speak?
Tokyo no 教育システムは話したくない子供にどう対応して
How does the educational system in Tokyo respond to children who do not want to speak?
Hi, thank you for asking question. And I think most of the students in Japan are like shy, and people who join this activity are really like extra, like how say? 日本語でいきます。Sorry,
Excuse me.
I'm gonna speak Japanese. Sorry. 日本の生徒って大体
A lot of children, students in Japan, tend to be shy.
そういう一人一人に向けた教育
About
っていうので、
education tailored to individuals.
this may be a weakness of Japan, but there is more, or education is more like susceptible, or but I think we need to be more active, trying to learn, but I think it's in a transitional process. We see debates in classes, so all students are playing a central role, and in my school, all sometimes students take the teaching role. So I believe that it's starting to cancel all our nature of shyness. Thank you.
Other question?
Do you feel children's mental health in Tokyo is taking seriously? Like, is it a challenge or is it under control?
From student perspective, preparing for entrance exam and the study is placing a lot of burden on us. And there are many children who are suffering from absenteeism, and that leads to a more educational gap. And this kind of chat services has been promoted by Tokyo Metropolitan Government in order to alleviate the gap. But we're often introverted, so it's sometimes difficult to talk about their concerns or problems. And in Tokyo, more children are committing suicides. So I believe that in mental health, I think that we don't see dramatic improvement right now. As in order to improve children's mental health, not just children actively participate, but the people surround them, teachers and parents, need to have more advanced knowledge of mental health, and they need to lead a conversation by themselves rather than waiting for children to be active.
The chaperone from the delegation from Dublin. Do you have any thoughts on the presentation?
You can hear me, yeah? Thank you so much for your presentation. I actually want to say, wow. There was so much information and so many speakers and so well organized. So that was a lot of work, and we could see that the effort that you put in to communicate well with the audience, and it was really informative and well done to everyone. I suppose the things that are standing out for me are their participation with children at different ages and stages with the basic ordinance, and also to see your innovative solutions to the different focus areas that you have around environment, and how you're encouraging children to take personal responsibility and also to use local solutions to the issues that you have around the climate changes. And also I think that the work that you're doing with your lovely mascot, I think Guppy is it? You saying that it does need to be better promoted, or that people need to learn more about it. I think the mascot will help with that. But offering a confidential service to parents and children is wonderful, and encouraging people to connect and engage, because it's just so important for us not to lose or to those connections, or to become socially isolated because of worries or problems that we have. And then just finally, I'm really impressed with the work that you're doing around your cohesion group. You would have heard from our speakers that in Dublin at the moment we have a real challenge with people, with the far right, and people being accepted for who they are. So really encouraged by the work that you're doing there and hope to take some of it back to Dublin. And then just finally to say, you know, it was absolutely our pleasure to welcome the Tokyo delegation to Dublin last year. And it's our privilege to be here with you at this time during this Teen Square event. And we appreciate it so much and have learned so much while we've been here from yourselves and from your beautiful and wonderful city. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
This concludes the presentation by the cities. Next, we would like to invite Ms. Otani to provide feedback on the presentations.
And so I want to say congratulations to all the presentations. I was listening very carefully and I learned a lot. And I just wanted to ask you, so I understand that the delegation from the 4 cities, except for Tokyo, I don't know how many days you are here, and if it is the first time. I just wanted to share with you today. Today is 21st, and I understand that so the delegation from other 4 cities are staying from yesterday, from 20th, and until tomorrow, 22nd, I think. So. At this moment, there is big international conferences going on, which is called TICAD, Tokyo International Conference on African Development, so which is called TICAD. So it uses the word Tokyo. However, it is hosted by Japanese national government and taking place in Yokohama, actually. So that same 3 days, there is a big conference on international conference in Yokohama, welcoming, I think, more than 30 leaders from African continent. But here, so 5 cities, the children are getting together in Tokyo, and I think it is very, very important. And I hope that this gathering will be known to many people in Japan, children and also the adults, because it is so impactful for all of us to share how the children see what are the elements and what the child-friendly cities would look like or should look like in their views. It's very much important gathering in my view. So I just want to share some of my reflections. I heard some of the presentations mention the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child. So many of you are familiar with the convention, but I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child. I am a former member and former chair of the Committee on the Rights of the Child, who reviews the country reports to check and monitor how your governments are actually implementing the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and how actually the governments are promoting and protecting the children's rights in their countries. The thing is that the Committee on the Rights of the Child meet with the representative of the national governments. And however, the committee is always emphasizing the importance of the local governments or the cities, because so many things about the children's actual life are happening at the local level. Of course, national law, legislation, policies are all important. However, for the children, the committee meets always say that their life are happening, first of all, in the family and in school and in the communities. And the committee feels that all those, the spaces like family, schools, and communities should support the children. And I believe that, of course, many of the presentations emphasize the children are stakeholders, children are the participants, and children's participation are very much emphasized. Of course, it has to start with the family and in the school. However, for the children to be really recognized as rights holders and a part of the society should take place in the community level and the city level. So I'm so impressed by hearing all 5 presentations today, because so many elements the 5 teams brought up are all about the children's rights under the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Many issues: child participation, meaningful child participation, empowerment of the children, education, climate change, environment, safety, basic needs, basic services, and inclusiveness. And so AI, digital issues, many issues you brought up in the context of how the child-friendly cities should be for you as a children. So I really congratulate all the children who came over to share your views. So I just want to pick up a few points. Some of the elements were echoed by all of you, but what I want to pick up is the one child participation. And I'm very happy to hear from the delegation from Dublin. So you mentioned the Lola Landis model. And for those who are not familiar with the Lola Landis model on child participation, it is very internationally well known for elements. And so, but today, I think the Dublin team or the also Brussels team, I think emphasize it should be meaningful child participation. It shouldn't be tokenism. So this is our responsibility, adults, not just to hear the children's voice, but how actually to reflect and incorporate into the real decision making. And so it is a challenge for us, and how to hear the children. And I think though adults, continue to say that children are not passive object of services, but they are subjects of rights holders, subjects of human rights, and they are rights holders. And their voices matter, their voices value. However, if we really don't take into consideration what they say and in their voice, then we fail to realize child participation. So I think after hearing all the presentation today, how to follow up this very wonderful afternoon gathering is the responsibility for all of us. And another thing I wanted to say is I was so impressed by 2 groups, I think mentioned bilingual education, and also I think 3 groups, or maybe all, mentioned international engagement. I'd say, because the children I met as a member of the Committee on the Rights of the Child, they talk about their concern, about their safety and their, family and the school and inclusiveness at the local level. However, many of the children also want to engage at the regional level, national level, and regional level, and the international level. So it should start from the city level and the local level, but we really want all the children to grow up as a global citizens. And because we know that the global society is faced at such a serious problems, and we need to work together with the youth and the children who have a different idea, new ideas. And so I am very happy today. I heard the willingness of the children and see the value of such education, such as bilingual education. And today's gathering, knowing each other and connected to each other among the different cities from various regions of the world would be a good experience. I believe it will be a very good experience for all of the children who came to participate in this Teens Square as one of the experience at the international engagement. So I wish you all the best, and I want to say once again, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience, your thoughts in your own words, your voice, and not only the voice, how you articulate and how you describe your concerns, and really showed that your voices really matter for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank each of the groups for their hard work. This now concludes the Tokyo Forum on Young Mind presentations. Thank you.